This
Okay.
is Josh here from Inside Wrestling Truth. The interview I'm about to bring you today is from the Iron Man Rob Conway. Rob's been in WWE. He's a former tag team champion. He's been an NWA champion. He's wrestled all over the world. Very underrated man, but making a name for himself in the world of professional wrestling. Sit back. He's a class act. You know, he took the time to sit down and do an interview with me. Check out the interview with the Iron Man Rob Conway. This is Josh here from Inside Wrestling Truth, and today we have a very special guest, former WWE Tag Team Champion and NWA World Champion Rob Conway. Rob, how you doing, man?
I appreciate you having me.
Hey, thanks for doing this with me, man. First off, just tell me, getting your start in OVW. The first time I seen you wrestle was in St. Church Gym in Louisville. Just tell me how you got your start in OVW.
I was, wrestling fan growing up, and then started working out with weights after high school and college, and then really got into watching him again around 95, 96, and then in 97 I just happened to be driving down the street in Jeffersonville, Indiana, and there was a sign that said the Danny Davis School of Professional Wrestling live event on Sunday at 7 o'clock. So I watched it a few times, stopped in, and eventually made an appointment to meet with him about doing some training.
Who were some of your favorite people to work with in OVW?
And a lot of the guys I started with, Nick Dinsmore, Doug Basham, the Damager, later became Danny Basham in the WWE, Flash Flanagan, Jason Lee, some great guys that I got to wrestle with. They kind of started around the time I did, but then they also brought in guys from outside that were fun to, have a great time wrestling. Canyon and Arn Anderson came in, and The Godfather, and Sergeant Slaughter. I mean, you name them, and they came through there.
I'm going to name some guys off to you that you work with at OVW. Just give me your thoughts on them, working with them and stuff. First one, of course, is Nick Dinsmore.
And he's a great technical wrestler. He's the ultimate good guy. Wrestled him, I think, about 190-something times, and we teamed up almost 200 times. So my careers be linked up with Nick.
Danny Davis.
Danny Davis, man, that guy is, probably the best trainer of professional wrestlers in this era, because prior to him, Vern Gagne had trained the most superstars of, Ric Flair and the Iron Sheik and a lot of people that came out of Minnesota. But, Danny Davis trained just about everybody who's on top of wrestling right now and has been for the last 15 years.
Trails Park Trash.
Trails Park Trash, man, he's a guy that, worked hard and, managed to really make a name for himself in OVW. He was kind of like the people's champion.
The Damager.
Damager, man, is a guy that had a lot of talent from day one, athletic ability, size, height. He was a great athlete in high school, and it was just wrestling seemed to come easy to him. He was a great dude.
John Cena.
John Cena, man, probably the hardest working guy that I've ever been around. He was always the first guy to come to practice and the last one to leave. Always, wanted to make it to the big time. And a lot of people don't know about him is that he's a huge wrestling fan. He wasn't just a bodybuilder that got into wrestling. He was a huge wrestling fan. And, he doesn't really wear wrestling gear, and he kind of catches flack sometimes from fans or from other wrestlers, but every time he got a paycheck, he bought new boots, new gear. So he has about 50 or 60 pairs of boots that he had before he got to WWE.
Right.
And then just so happens that for him to get real popular, he had to switch his shoes and wearing jean shorts. But it's not because he didn't pay his dues and have the gear.
Randy Orton.
Man, Randy Orton. What do you say about that guy, man? That's the third generation of the guy that just has it. I mean, you can tell it from the get-go. He had size, and he's got a lot of charisma. But he's been on television for 15 years.
Was he a cool dude?
Yeah, man. I mean, me and him got along really good. We traveled together early in his career and had a lot of matches. And I just to watch him grow from, not knowing how to lock up to being, world champion is pretty impressive.
Well, Brock, did you work with him in OVW?
Oh yeah, a lot with Brock, man. There's another guy that's John Cena-like when it comes to his work ethic. I mean, the guys that come from amateur wrestling or amateur sports, they jump in with the idea of the harder I work, the faster I can get better, and the faster I can get moved up. You know, more of a goal-oriented thing. And Brock, from day one, worked hard, and he drove the ring truck, was in charge of the ring crew. I mean, things that people behind the scenes wouldn't know.
Right.
Hey, he didn't just come in and get handed a top spot. You know, that he was an amateur wrestler. He came in, paid as many dues as he could, as fast as he could.
Rick Rogers.
Rick Rogers, man, the guy's just a phenomenal trainer. His mind for wrestling is like no other. I wrestled him in probably my first 20 or 30 matches. He's just he's one of a kind. Buy his t-shirt. Go to his t-shirt store. He'll put it on Twitter. He might even tweet it if he knows you bought one.
Jim Cornette.
Jim Cornette. Another guy who I probably would have never made it to the WWE and got an opportunity if it hadn't been for him taking a liking to me. And really just, you know, he's tough love. He teaches you a lot, but while he's doing it, he's real hard on you and yells at you. But it's all because if he's not yelling at you, that means he doesn't probably care about you or think that you have any potential. So I learned a lot from Jim Cornette.
Do you remember where you were when you got your call up to the WWE?
Yeah, I torn my PCL in my right knee in a match against Johnny Jeter. And I didn't have surgery. I elected to just try to rehab it. And then they called me and said they were going to bring me up to the main roster. And at the time, I couldn't even run. And I was waiting on this brace. Of course, I told them, yes, I'll be there. I'm ready to go. And then a couple days later, I get this big, massive brace for my knee. And as soon as I put the brace on, I was able to run and jump. Without the brace, I could barely walk up and down steps. So yeah, I was actually at court rehab over in Louisville.
How was Vince like the first time you met
him? The first time I met him, you know, was just when I used to do extra work. You know, he just kind of shakes your hand and says hello, and he's Vince. His character on television is pretty much the way he is all the time. I mean, he's not as over the top, but he's a big, big man, and he's the boss. And so he kind of is intimidating. But then later on, as I got, you know, where I was around him, you know, 2 or 3 days a week, he's still intimidating, he's still the boss, but he's open to ideas, you know, and wants to hear what you have to say, whether or not he decides to use it or not. But he's an intimidating guy, that's for sure.
I understand. How did the tag team get to come about with you in WWE?
Sylvain and Renee were La Resistance. Renee was only 19 years old. He'd only been wrestling his whole life because his dad was a promoter. And Sylvain was a couple years older than Renee, but he'd only been wrestling for like a year, so they didn't have that much experience as wrestlers. And they both were in Ohio Valley Wrestling while they were on television. And I got along good with both of them, and especially Sylvain. And Sylvain had really pushed for me to kind of join the group and kind of be like a little bit more. I'd been wrestling 6 years at that time, so a little more veteran leadership. And then, so I debuted with them, and I was going to be a singles wrestler, just affiliated with them. But in one of our matches with the Dudleys, Sylvain broke a bone in his neck. So they basically just transitioned me into his spot until he healed up. So I was never originally was going to be an actual member and wear the gear and all that stuff. But yeah, it was an odd call when Jim Ross said, hey, you need to get Sylvain's gear from him. So I had to call him and say, hey man, can you send me your stuff? Because I mean, he could have said, you know, no, because it doesn't sound too promising when you bring a new guy in and he gets your gear and you're sitting at home with a broken neck. But me and Sylvain, me and Renee got along great. Renee and Sylvain don't get along really great. And me and Sylvain, you know, are really close. And I really felt like we just always had good chemistry together.
What team did you like to wrestle the most in WWE?
I really enjoyed wrestling quite a few teams, but the one that just jumps out at me the most is Eugene and William Regal.
Okay.
Just because most of us who enjoy technical wrestling kind of, at one point in our career, kind of, looked up to William Regal, and then Eugene and Nick Dinsmore, the guy that I wrestled with in my very first match. I knew him before we got into wrestling, and then for us to wrestle each other all over the world when we live probably 6 or 8 minutes away from each other. We live in Clarksville, we live in New Albany.
Y'all wrestling in WWE, yes.
Yeah.
Where do you think that tag team would fit in today's tag team?
I think we would be by far the most hated and get the most reaction if we came back today, or if we had the same team and it was, today. I look at their tag teams and they've got a lot of great athletes and stuff like that, but nobody really stands out there. You think, man, when those guys come out, no matter who they're going against, that team's going to get cheered for.
Yeah, no doubt. Which WrestleMania was your favorite that you were in?
WrestleMania 20, because I was actually featured in a match instead of just a battle royal or something. And it was WrestleMania 20. It was my very first time ever being at Madison Square Garden. So it was a big deal.
A couple of days ago, Dusty Rhodes passed away. What was your favorite memory of Dusty Rhodes?
My favorite memory was there was a sold-out stadium in Dallas with over 20,000 people, and he brought out just about every legend that had ever wrestled in the WWE. When we switched back over to the USA Network, they called it WWE Homecoming.
Yeah.
And I came out and interrupted it.
Right.
We got to go kind of toe-to-toe on the microphone with Dusty Rhodes before he hit me with the jabs and the bionic elbow. So I mean, that was a big moment for me. And it's one that you see it on the network, or it's had hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of hits on YouTube.
Yeah.
So to say I, was in the ring with the American Dream, as well as all the other guys that at one point I would have just liked to got a picture taken with those guys, let alone get to go out there in front of a sold-out arena and millions watching at home and get to verbally go toe-to-toe with the Dream.
What was your thoughts when you seen you had your own action figure? Because that's got to be cool, man.
That's cool is the word. But it's also, it's one of those things, because you talk about, some of the guys who just at one point said, man, do you ever feel like you ever made it? And I don't think anybody ever feels it. If you do one WrestleMania, you want to do two. If you win one championship, you want to win 2 or 3. But it's one of those things that before you even get one, when you become a wrestler, you think, man, I would like to get an action figure. I would like to be in a video game.
Right.
I would like to be in a WrestleMania. And this is just one of those things on the checklist, as well as be a champion of some kind. But yeah, that's, you can't. I've got 9 action figures out there over the time that I was in WWE, and it's one of those things that no matter what happens the rest of your career, they can't take that away. It's something you can look back on when you don't look like your action figure anymore.
Right.
You say, man, look at that. It's something that I accomplished.
After leaving WWE, was there ever thought of going to TNA?
It was never a thought not going there. It just never really came up. And none of the people in the office at TNA were anyone that I was ever really affiliated with. And then I started wrestling independently and almost immediately hooked up with NWA Wrestling Showcase out of Hollywood. And so I started wrestling for them, and things were going really good. So, TNA never really reached out to me, and I really had no reason to reach out to them. So it just never happened. And the one thing about them that I saw maybe hurt some of the other guys is that they left the WWE, and then they went to TNA. And TNA, for whatever reason, didn't use them to their full potential. And they left TNA.
Yeah.
Then it kind of like they left WWE, they left TNA, and then I think it almost kind of, I don't say it hurts their bookings on the independents, but the only way I would want to go to any company, now that I'm a free agent and I like to do what I like to do,
right.
In order for me to go and sign a contract with somebody, then I would have to have a lot more control over what I get to do as far as a character. And WWE, you have no control. But now I've been doing this for 18 years, and I'm not just going to come and, you know, portray a French sympathizer again, or unless that's what I want to do.
Yeah. Thoughts on working for JCW and working with Corporal Robinson?
JCW, Juggalo Championship Wrestling, the Insane Clown Posse. Those guys, if you're not familiar with their group, or if you've just heard of it, it's actually one of the most professionally run shows and events that you'll ever run into, man. And you know, Shaggy and Joe, those guys love wrestling. I mean, they have passion about it. They put their money into it. They both wrestle themselves. They've been in most of the top promotions, so it's just run very professional. The guys and the characters are you know, everything from my character, the submissionary, that's a straight wrestler going for submissions, to, you know, a guy in a diaper, to you know, Two Tough Tonys, the town drunk, to Corporal Robinson, who's kind of like the people's champ, you know. And he was great working with. Great, you know, Corporal Robinson's a guy that was in the Jeffersonville, Clarksville, Woodle area for years, and I'd never met him, and I'd never wrestled him, and it wasn't until we'd probably both been in the business for, you know, 14, 15 years before I actually met him for the first time, and he's, you know, a great guy, and good head for the wrestling business. And we got out there, and you know, he don't pull any punches, man. It was if you see some of the stuff that we did at JCWI pay-per-views, it's pretty physical. You know, you guys can bring it.
What's your thoughts on when you become NWA champion? That's a special battle.
That was a dream come true for me. And it's like you said, people ask about, you know, the action figures in the video game. It was actually overwhelming. You know, going into the match, and then after the match, when the belt was actually in my hand, you know, it's like you'll believe it when you see it. And it was there, and it just brought me back to, you know, watching it as a kid and as a teenager, and the idea that your name is on a list that is very, very prestigious. You know, granted, you know, there's years when it wasn't Dusty Rhodes and Jack, you know, and Terry Funk and Jack Briscoe, where it wasn't in the mainstream, but when you look at the guys that held the belt even during that time, they're still great wrestlers and top guys in the different promotions. So it's just an honor, and I really feel like, you know, me getting it and them starting a new regime with Bruce Tharp as the president, I feel like over the last 3 years, it's on the rise again. NWA is, and it's.
What do you love the most about the wrestling business?
It's not the physicality, I can tell you that. You know, I mean, if I won the lottery tomorrow, I'd stay in the wrestling business. But if I got knocked down, I'd probably have to pay somebody to come and help me get back up. I don't know how many beatings that would take. But now it's just the interaction with the audience, the camaraderie you have with the other wrestlers. I mean, I came from a sports background, and to me, that's what I missed when I left playing college basketball. I started bodybuilding. Well, it's a very individual sport, bodybuilding is. You don't have a lot of people in teammates. Right. And that's kind of the way it feels like we're in the wrestling business. That there's a certain, you know, it's hard to even talk to just an average, you know, my other friends. I have wrestling friends, and I have my high school and college friends, but you use different terminology, and they, you know, they have jobs and they're hard and they're physical and they're mentally tough, but it's just something about other wrestlers. They know what you're going through, you know, and it's the camaraderie with the guys. To me,
How do you want to be remembered when you retire?
Well, I mean, I hope I'll be remembered as a guy who was a good wrestler and helped others. And, you know, just very, you know, respectful and held the business, you know, high. Just you know, I guess in a nutshell, I just want to be remembered as a good professional that treated everybody good. You know, just respected. You get respected and say, hey, man, that guy was a good wrestler, and I respect him and what he did. You know, that's all you can hope for.
In closing, man, is there anything else you'd like to say, or let the people know how they can keep in contact with you?
Well, I'm on Twitter at Rob Conway, and I can be reached at Facebook on Rob Conway 2 and Robert Thomas Conway, and then fan page is just Rob Conway. I can also be contacted for wrestling bookings and seminars, and I've done some commercials
Yes.
You know, I enjoy doing that stuff. It's ConwayNWA@gmail.com.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.